Okay, let's do a podcast without Dan. Who's our special guest today? Here he comes. Oh, here he is. Bing bong. And I bet you he's not. Oh, hang on. Hello. Classic. Absolute classic. Hello, Dan. How are you?
I'm great, Hendo. How you going? I just wanted to say that after 2 episodes ago, I firmly believe a 6-beer minimum policy should be instated for all podcasts.
All right, I gotta go live with this, mate. Oh, this is classic. Hang on, I'm gonna go live into the Facebook group. This is so funny. Boss and the Brewer podcast live AF episode 37. All 12 of you should be watching this. Share in your group. Boss and the Brewer, go live. Oh, subject does not have permission to create live video in this group. I'm the fucking admin. How the fuck does that even work?
No idea.
Not fair. Not fair. Oh, anyway, we'll do it next week. Anyway, for those of you who are listening at home, if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll notice that we actually have Dan Norris, not Dan Norris, on the other screen. How are you, Dan McAlister-smiley?
I better move.
I can't believe you printed out a picture of Dan and stuck it up to your fucking camera.
How wrong, man? No, I'm really good. Really good.
What's
how about
happening, mate?
Well, just, living the dream or paying for someone's anyway. I'm not sure which it is some days.
How did you get started with White Lies? I don't even remember when we first met. I probably had more than half a dozen beers like a couple of weeks ago.
We met, I'm pretty sure it was stewarding down in Melbourne.
AIBAs. That would have been either 2013 or 2014.
Yeah, it was a long time ago now, because I think you were the year ahead of me in the grad cert. So Bradford got us all in there.
Oh, that would have been. Was it in where the judging is now, or was it where down the back where there was at the other side of the oval there?
It was on the back down the other side there when they all wore lab coats.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and there was only 3 tables, and each table had like 8 people in it. Fuck, it would have been a nightmare. It took them 5 days to go through. Like, it used to take them like 20 minutes just to go through one beer. I remember stewarding when we first did that.
I think the hardest bit was, as a steward flying down from Queensland, it was 5 days of judging and 2 days of prep and pull down afterwards. So
yeah, right.
Week.
That must have been either 2013 or 2014, I think.
It's a long time ago, man.
I can't believe we've nearly known each other nearly 10 years, mate.
I know, it's a bit scary.
Was White Lies a thing then?
No. Actually, funny story. It's Pete Manders was the one that probably tipped me over the edge of starting a brewery when he said one day that, oh no, I could never be a judge because we only want people in the industry being judges.
It was very exclusive back then. You really had to earn your place to be a judge. I remember I filled out a form with the RASV, and it was a 5-year commitment, the steward to judge program. And it was basically 3 years as a steward and then 2 years as an associate judge, and then you became a judge.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. So I think my first associate year was 2017. I think it was. No,
is that right?
Yeah, I think it was 26. Might have been 2015 there because 2015 or 2016 because I'd done 3 years of stewarding beforehand and finally got in, and then I think 2017 was my first year, or 26. Well, one of them as first year as an actual judge down there.
Holy shit, man! Because as soon as if that's when you first started judging at the ARBAs, you really took judging by the balls, because literally the next year you would have been over and you did Japan a year or two before you tapped me on the shoulder to come over, right?
Yeah, I think 2017 was the 2018. 2018 it would have been the first year over there.
I think 2017 for you, because 2018 was my first.
Geez, COVID screwed up timeframes, hasn't it?
It has. Because 2017 would have been your first. In fact, what was that? Where was that in that year? In 2017, was it Yokohama or somewhere else?
Yeah, well, it wasn't Yokohama over there.
Because you got me over in 2018.
Yes.
And that was also in Yokohama.
Yeah, and then 2019
was Matsumoto.
Then
I only judged in Japan twice. Yeah, it's only been twice.
Yes.
And you've done 3 times. Fuck, I miss it.
Me too.
The border's open now.
It is. It's staggered though. They haven't
got to do some ISO too.
And also they're only letting groups in at the moment, or business. It's not sort of like just for holidays.
We are both.
Yes. Yeah.
We can go, and we would be a group conducting the business of beer judging.
I think it'll change by September though, to be honest.
Have you spoken to any of the crew from Japan?
No, they're on a bit of a down low at the moment. They don't really say, because they couldn't come out for the Australian ones because they're quarantined to go home. So
yes,
haven't seen any international judges for a while.
Oh man, but then, like some of our other friends, they're like, well, we had Michael on the show, but then I've seen there's the Aro Rojo over in Mexico at the moment.
Yeah.
Which Paco asked me to go. And I was like, fuck, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, except it was 1 week before the term finished. I was still teaching. So I said, I can't. If it was 1 week later, I'd probably do it. So, yeah. Tell me how White Lies started, Lee.
Yes, so quite a long time ago, actually. It's a shame Dan's not here, because we were kind of going through setting up at the same time. All the way back in 2013, we started the brewery there.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the year there, I think it's about September-ish, and probably got the first beers out in, I think it was December or January 2014. Just to a little cafe. And then, we just decided, okay, well, we'll keep going from there. And I think it was about mid 2014 when we were doing fresh wort kits for Brewer's Choice back in the day on our tiny.
Oh shit!
Right. Never again. I get asked all the time, do fresh wort kits, and I'm like, no, thank you, never again. There's just too much work, too much brain, and especially on a small kit. So I think it was about June we went, no, we've got to start looking for a new location, get it out of the house. I'll be the first to admit, brewing in my pajamas was pretty fun.
Yes.
But, it's too small scale. It's not really
pajamas.
Job. Yeah, pajamas.
Pajamas and pajama pants. Excellent. That's your PPE.
Yeah. You wouldn't know I came from a safety background, would you, Hendo?
Have you got photos of that? That'd be fucking sick.
Oh no, probably not. But had some pretty cool people. Like I brewed with Dermot O'Donnell in the garage here. Like some old school sort of CUB guys came up and brewed with them for a day and a few things like that.
Bloody hell.
But yeah, definitely it was great to get out of there. And we started Sumner. I think we took that over 2015, and it took probably 13 months before we could open.
Because you were very lucky with the kit as well. You dodged a bullet there, eh?
One of only 3 to get delivered, I believe. And I think
what's his name again? I forgot his name.
Micah Reese.
That's right. What was the name of the company again?
Core Brewing Concepts.
Core Brewing Concepts, yeah.
And
so that was like he was taking everybody's money
Yeah.
to build breweries, and he delivered 3.
Yes. So it was a big Ponzi scheme. He was basically taking the money deposits for the next ones to pay for the ones because he'd underquoted them quite significantly. I think it was something in tune of 250 grand he took from other people. There was quite a few in Victoria that got stung and lost their breweries, or only got bits of it. They might have only got like a few tanks or something like that. Didn't get the whole kit. So, that was really sad, actually, what he did to a lot of people.
Yeah, because it's like it's a passion project, isn't it? When you go and build a brewery,
especially at that size too, because funds are definitely the key consideration on that scale. Yeah. So every $1,000 you can save goes to some other bit of kit that you desperately need but probably can't afford.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, what are you drinking there?
Well, I don't know. If you opened your box, you'd probably be drinking one.
Oh, that's right. Because you stopped by my. I better go get my bloody box then. Hang on a second.
Yes, that's just. I'll just fill in for Hendo, and I'll just do the Black Hops wrap up this week as Dan Norris. I think they made a lot of beer, went into cans, sold it.
Oh, here's my bloody box.
Filled some tanks again, made more beer.
If you don't go silent, right? Then you just keep an Adzi on the podcast longer because he cuts out all the blanks. So we're just wasting Adzi's time. Hey, look at this. I've got a HPA box. And what hop was it originally? It doesn't say.
I don't know. It's probably Galaxy. Well, it might have been Vic Secret, that one.
As long as it's not fucking Topaz. Who likes Topaz? Let's see what we got here. It was Galaxy.
There you are.
There you go. It was Galaxy.
Thanks, Sim.
Good on you, Sim, at Hot Products Australia. Oh, excellent. I've got some of those squishy airbag things. Thanks, man.
They're no expense for you, mate.
It's beer. Sick. Sick. It's beer. Holy shit, these are your beers.
Yes, they are.
You done canned beer before?
Lots. We're doing a fair bit now, yes.
Oh, thank you.
No, that's all right.
Got you. Oh, Buster Nut's one of my favourites. What have we got? Buster Nut, brown ale, raspberry sour. What's this one? Imperial maple espresso stout. Fuck off. And the classic hazy craze. Oh, which one should I go first?
Well,
did you know I've not had alcohol in 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, that's ending, isn't it?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do before I drink one of these is sponsored beer. I'm going to drink my sponsored beer first.
All right.
I have to get it out of the fridge again, so you can go silent, but it just means that you Adzi, his time, perception of time is cut short because of the silences being cut out. That he's listening at 1.2 speed. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I've done the Black Hops wrap up, Hendo, so I don't have anything else to say.
Tripled up the sponsor thing, mate. So I've got my bloody Helios glass, right? And Coop sent me over because he reached out to me because I was having a little bit of a break from alcohol. And he said, I'll send you some of the stout. I went, there's an alcohol-free stout. And so there you go. Look at that.
Cool. I could dig that.
Yeah. And so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photo of me taking a photo of my screen. And then I can send that to Dan or post it on my Instagram story. And then away we go. So I've got this sober aniseed myrtle stout. Rich, warming, licoricey.
Yeah, it's a word.
Okay. All right, let's have a fucking go here. This is my last non-alcoholic drink. It has been a good break from alcohol, I have to be honest, eh?
No, it is good to do that. I do that every now and then.
Do you? I haven't done it consciously in a long time. It wasn't difficult, to be fair. In fact, I could very happily just go, like, because I've got a few people come around on Saturday night, which we're definitely going to have beers. Fuck, that head retention is amazing. Look at that.
Look at that. That looks excellent.
And you see how clean my glass is? No, you can't because it's a stout. There you go. Fuck it, Dan. Let's have a look. Shit, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. In fact, I find that all the non-alcoholic beers that have the sort of the retarded fermentation very worty, which they kind of have to be because they effectively are. But in this beer, it kind of works. In fact, it definitely works. I like it.
Is it pretty full body?
Absolutely. It's a fat monster for no alcohol.
It's good.
I like that. That is not bad at all. I wonder what does the licorice. Oh, aniseed, of course. Fucking idiot. You know, my hair used to be blonde when I had it. What do we got here?
I've had blonde hair too, Hendo.
Hey, what was that?
I've had blonde hair too.
Yeah. I bleached my hair blonde. I've had purple hair and everything. It's terrible. Aniseed myrtle naturally occurs in the subtropical rainforests of the Bellingen and Nambucca valleys of the Gumbain near people. I'm so fucking terrible at that pronunciation. A licorice aniseed flavor. Its traditional use was medicinal, commonly used for stomach ailments. Perfectly matched with the grainy coffee notes of traditional malty stout. This brew is rich and full of warmth. That is true. What a great beer.
That's excellent.
Thanks, Coop. What do you got?
I have our raspberry sour.
Oh, is your beer pink?
Yeah, it's pink.
That. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I'll have to do that again because I'll take another photo and I'll do an Instagram.
I'll do these.
Yeah, let me. Oh, it's classic. Anyway, so what happened after you moved White Lies out of the garage? What happened? Did the missus just go, nah, get out?
There was a bit of that. But yeah, you know, we started up the new place, and honestly, it's all just sort of a bit of ancient history now. I think it's like anywhere. I get asked all the time, get random questions. You know, oh, I've got an idea to start a brewery in my shed. I've seen you've done it, and my first answer is just don't do it. Wait till you've got the capital to start somewhere else. Like it's too small. Like I'm grateful for probably the lessons I learned doing it, and it was a really cost-effective way to dip the toe in the water of craft beer back then.
Sure.
But I mean, back then there was 7 breweries in Brisbane when we started. You know, 7 craft breweries. There was still the majors there, but there wasn't many of us.
Yes.
And I think, what are you now? We're 40, 50, maybe?
Oh, easily.
You know, so there's so much brand dilution out there that you're just crazy if you try and start too small. You're better off either, you know, not doing it at all or waiting until you've got the capital to start a bit bigger. But, you know, we've sort of found that again with the Spine Street site. You know, we'd still probably work that brewery harder than it should have been, putting out maybe 40. I think we did 50,000 litres one year. There
Out of that little brewery.
There was a lot of turnover and long days, double batches, filling.
That brew house, 200 litres.
It's 253 vessel, but we converted it to a 5 heck, but ran 2 kettles. So 1 mash tun, 2 kettles, and we had on-demand hot water for that. So we're able to brew a bit of high grav, dilute to 6 hec in the tanks. And at one stage, what do we have? We had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 6 hec fermenters there. So,
and you smashed out 50,000 litres a year with that.
Yeah, in 1 year. Yeah, that was our biggest year. We didn't do that again. We didn't get close again. I think we did a 40 and maybe a 34 or something like that.
And back at that point when you had just the Spine Street over in Sumner, where was your beer going?
Just over the bar. Basically. A tiny bit of wholesale here and there, but that was all over the bar.
That's amazing.
Then. Yeah, look, it's been probably a funny couple of years. I think COVID, obviously, we didn't need to brew as much because we didn't have package. So that probably reduced how much we had to do. And hence the distillery, that's where a bit of the focus went during COVID.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely not brewing as much, but not as much over the venue. So it just wasn't the demand to keep brewing that heavily on there. But COVID probably taught us that, we need to go big or go home a little bit, and that's why we did the risk.
You were very anti that though back in the day.
Back in the day, I was, and I guess I was, I think everyone's a little naive in a new business. Like, I've got my mindset, what I wanted to achieve, and how I was going to do it, and how it was going to be, profitable and work the way I wanted. And look, it was going okay, but
yeah.
I think as saturation came into particularly the Southeast Queensland market with many craft breweries and many cashed up craft breweries coming there, it was, you kind of had to grow or you were just going to die, like shrivel and die. So that's when we thought, okay, well, we've got to put some investment in and go a lot bigger to try and get ahead of, I guess, that, like yourself, there's this huge band of brew houses that are in that sort of 10 to 20 hec range. And lots of little brew pub, and brew pub is a great model, but it seems that all of them also have a bit of a crossover into that wholesale space as well. So
yes, you've got to turn on all the revenue streams, mate.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that wholesale arm is getting harder and harder unless you can put out some serious volume and quickly and effectively. So I guess that's where we went a little bit bigger than what we were originally looking, maybe expand to a 10 hec, 15 hec system, and just keep the small brew pub model going. But I think it was more, and I'm glad we've done it. It was, we've gone much bigger, and also,
but you've done with the before we move on to the new facility that you sort of got up and running now, you've done so much with that space out on Spine Street. You had the cigar room, I think it was.
Gin room upstairs, yeah.
The gin room, yeah, with all the Chesterfield couches, and the distillery. In fact, I've got a message sitting on my phone from your distiller, and like what? Tell us about the distilling, because, mate, I've seen you drink spirits. It's not fucking pretty, hey.
Oh, thanks. Look, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about it. Like, in a very condensed version, I think they're just dirty ferments. They put them in a big stainless thing, boil it, and then you get this high grade neutral spirit that tastes nothing like what went in the first place. Sean's the guy. He does all of that side of things, but it's quite interesting though. The more you read into it, the more that, look, spirits is not a simple science either.
No.
I think compared to beer, it's actually quite filthy. As far as cleanliness goes in there, it doesn't really, it matters, but it doesn't, type of thing.
There's lots of alcohol to kill anything. So.
Yeah, and once you run it through sort of a column, there you're getting pretty pure stuff. But where I guess the real science comes into is particularly around your botanical usage, the level of the ingredients you do. And it's even little things like we've been working on a coffee liqueur for a little while. And as simple as like the fats in coffee are non-soluble. So you've got this massive problem where
Not soluble in water or not soluble in ethanol or both?
both. So, so what happens is with your coffee liqueur, you add, espresso to it, but the fats come out of coming into solution there, and you'll get that layer of fat of sediment at the bottom of any sort of like bottle. And while you can, shake it up and kind of get it back in there, it never really truly goes back in again. So all these little things about shelf stability and I guess look on there that you wouldn't expect from something, like you put espresso in a beer, it's staying in the beer, it's normally a dark beer, it's not layering or anything, but you go to, a 40 or even a 20% liqueur, and then you have this new problem that emerges. So there's a lot of science in there that I don't confess to understand, but it's just, different level than the brewing when it comes to sort of like some of those botanicals and how things interact with the alcohol.
What's your spirits brand called?
It's called Genesis.
Genesis. I love it.
Yes. That was, I have to pay homage to my bartender, Matt. He came up with that.
Okay.
A little bit biblical in there. And I'm like, you know what? I like that, and quickly jumped on and trademarked it. So
yeah, good on you. That's smart, mate. Smart.
Fingers crossed. Look, there's still, I believe there's a lot of growth in that industry, but it's also suffering probably a little bit what craft beer is, where you're getting a lot of new distilleries coming into the market, and particularly being white spirit, being gin or vodka, there's just so many options out there for people. So standing out is a little bit difficult.
Yes.
On there, but we're probably moving into a little bit more of that RTD space, but keeping it craft, if that makes sense. So,
sure.
Craft gin and tonics, your specialist vodka and sodas, those sort of things. Trying to stay out of seltzers. Hate seltzers. I hate them.
Well, yeah, they're just alcohol water. Isn't it?
There's nothing going on there. There's nothing going on. If you're going to drink, well, you may as well not if you're having seltzers,
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think seltzers have a future in Australia or not?
Oh, I think they'll have a niche. I can't see them taking a tap at my local pub if that was the test you were looking for.
They're huge in the States.
Well, they're not as big anymore though now.
But they're huge because I think it's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they like drinking soda, and soft drink and seltzers are not a natural extension of it. Seltzer is kind of what they call a soft drink in some parts of the States anyways. Yeah. And then adding alcohol to it, but they don't have RTDs really in the States.
Oh,
do they?
They do for your hard spirits like whiskies and those sort of ones. Right. But I guess their RTDs aren't as big like I'm sure they're there. I'm sure we just don't see
and they're
them.
Cheap. Seltzers are cheap.
Oh, very. That
like $1 a can, $1 US a can. It's nothing.
Look, last time I was in the States pre-COVID, we went to Cape Cod, and that was what sort of our host over there packed to go out there, was just seltzers for the day. And I must confess, it was pretty refreshing when you're on a hot beach there, and you don't really feel like a beer. But still, that's about the only setting I can see that working for me anyway.
Yeah. Bloody hell. And so tell us about the new brewery.
Yeah, new brewery, much bigger. So
where is it?
So 17 Mile Rocks, just down near the Rock Riverside Park there.
You would have got wet back in February?
Almost. About 15 centimetres from the roller door it stopped. So it's pretty scary when you had all the equipment in there. We've got a Cody canning line on loan that's sitting there at the moment, so we had to put that up on pallets. A lot of equipment there that is uninsured for the river breaking its banks.
Yeah, fuck.
And nothing you can do about it. Like no insurance company will cover any of the businesses down there if the river bursts.
Tell us about the brewery.
Yeah, so we A lot of people might remember the old Brisbane Brew Partners that opened up over at Morningside. Never actually brewed anything, and we ended up
$2 million initiative of initiatives. Yeah, I remember the guy.
Yeah. We ended up purchasing his kit off him. In there, no tanks, so we had to get tanks come in. So it's a 20 barrel or 25 hec. But as we've pushed it the last couple of weeks, we can easily do 30, 32 hec boils in there, no problem. So decent size. And we have 250 hec, 425 hec, and a 6 sort of 5 or 6 hec tanks that we play around with some small releases there, and another 50 hec bright that's on loan as well. So all up about 30,000 litres of ferment space sitting there in the brewery, which is all full at the moment.
Is it open to the public?
Not yet. So COVID and floods kind of put a bit of a dampener on the construction phase. More money, I guess, than anything else. Is just had to keep bills being paid, so we stopped that. But looking in the next couple of weeks, construction to start up on that. So really optimistic that probably towards the end of October we'll be open to the public on there, and it'll be a 300 seat venue in there with beer gardens outside, as well as a kitchen in there.
Excellent.
So,
have you got your person doing your food all lined up, or what?
Sort of. Again, COVID's played havoc with like, we kind of had a little agreement with someone, like, we're not going to manage the kitchen. We're looking to bring in another company in who will look after that. That'll be their own brand in that kitchen. And it's more just a relationship between us two, where we look after the venue side, they'll look after.
Are you allowed to say what food they're going to do?
We're looking along the lines of sort of like pizzas, but I'm insisting that we can do wings, and we've a couple of healthier options there as well. But
wings are a healthy option.
That's what I think too.
They're practically a salad.
Well, you got my vote for PM. But yeah, look, really, I guess that's another lesson we've learned. Like, we love the food trucks. The food trucks have worked well for us over the last couple of years, but I think people's habits are changing a little bit as well, where it's kind of going back to when people go out, they like that assurity of what they're getting.
Rather than sort of like rocking up and not knowing what food truck's going to be there that night.
So we're finding there's a little bit of fatigue with the food trucks in our other venues. So just, we probably will still have food trucks at the new venue from time to time on busier events, but trying to bring that in-house and more just a little bit consistency of supply for us in the new side there.
It's a good relationship to have. You have like a venue, and then you sort of sublet out the kitchen to someone who just specializes in doing food, because brewers love to cook, but they're shit at making food.
Mate, brewers are no good at running bars either, I'll tell you that for free.
Fuck, absolutely. I can honestly speak for myself in that regard. Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's some of the learnings we've had from the little venue going to the bigger venue is, it is just get the right person for the job.
And you see it done really well. There's a couple of places in Melbourne that I know do it really well. First one I think of, we were there the other week, Catfish and Sparrows Philly cheesesteaks, fucking excellent.
Yep.
And the Sparrows just run their own business, and the Uber Eats riders come in, grab food, go. I like to send you a text message now instead of yelling your name at the top of their lungs, that sort of thing.
I'll confess, after seeing how the Mr. Yum worked down there, that's what we're looking at as well.
Good, eh?
In there, because like we're trying to get away. Like, we don't want to do table service. We want it kind of that casual vibe still, but just what you're going to get out of the kitchen every time. Like a little bit of a hybrid model for restaurant versus brewery bar.
Yep.
To those food truck style. So I guess that's what we're playing with at the moment.
Will you do beers through the Mr. Yum as well?
Yes, because we can do takeaway on those. So we'll be able to add. That was one of the advantages with Uber Eats and those sort of things now, where you can provide beers with food. So we can actually do that as part of the offering for takeaway, which I thought was something, quite attractive as far as
That's good.
The Uber Eats side of things goes.
Yeah. And so what do you reckon? October?
I'm quietly optimistic by the end of October, probably coincide with the, I think we're 6th birthday now, could be 7th, I can't remember. COVID's ruined everything as far as keeping track. But yeah, probably coincide with one of those, I think. Open to the public. Hope so, because
I will definitely be there. I'm on the western side of Brisbane now, so
you came to the good side.
Being out that way means that I can go there. There's a few brewers. There's bloody, what's its name? Lucha Brewing popped up out there. Have you been out there?
I confess I kind of drop in there every Friday on the way home.
That's your brewery on the way home.
That's my local now.
Yeah,
he's lovely, Damien, out there, and it's kind of good that there is the other brewery out on that side now, and probably I think another one or two out in the western suburbs will be fantastic for the whole.
I still think there just needs to be one in the inner west, but there's just nowhere to put it.
Not unless you really want to pay a fortune for it.
Yeah.
There's social. There's no. I guess this is the great Brisbane City Council zoning debate, isn't it? It's like inner west there. What you're thinking around Indooroopilly,
Something like that.
St. Lucia.
There's nothing in St. Lucia. There's no industrial zoning in St. Lucia.
Yeah. So you've either got to go mixed use with residential and have a really good planner and hope that you can get that rezoned. And it's still going to cost you a fortune to do that. Or
yes.
In Indro, there is some, you do have some industrial there, but it's very high net worth.
It's big box retail though. So that real estate's going to be worth a fortune.
And, that doesn't really lend itself to the brewery operation, I don't think. I think,
it'd be good if there was one there. It would kick ass.
It would. But so many planning hurdles, I think, and maybe in a couple of years' time it might get easier, but it would be a nightmare at the moment to try and get that. Like we were looking around there originally before we settled on 17 Mile Rocks, and because probably one of the learnings that I've seen with all the breweries that are doing well is location.
Of course, yeah.
Cheap rent's one thing, but if there's no one coming there, well, doesn't really
point having it.
Doing a tap sales model, like a brew pub model. So you got to move that to somewhere where the people are.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for stopping by the other day to drop those beers off. Sorry I couldn't spend more time with you.
Thank you for the tour.
I was in there. What did you think? All those Renos.
You done well.
It turned out all right, mate. I'm pretty happy with how the Renos turned out, and looking forward to catching up with a few friends on Saturday. All the friends that helped. I'm gonna cook a big dinner up for them. I'm getting the Schweinhaxen out. I'm putting the Lederhosen on, and we brewed a Vienna lager. We're getting the Steins out, and we're going to be eating and drinking very well.
I'll just so you know, too, I've already trademarked Hendo's Flipping Houses. So
no, I've decided never again. I'm not fucking renovating anything ever again.
Think of all the lexicon half that's missing out.
Well, I'm happy to give advice. And if you have a look at what Dan's house is doing, and I'm touching wood, Metricon, touch wood. And he's just done all the lexicon half indoors. I think it's going to be fucking mint.
I think it'll look good. But
I've turned myself to it. Got to turn myself to a new project though. And it sounds dumb. Can I tell you about it?
Sure, tell me about it.
Okay, so the guy who owned this place before I bought it died. Right? I'm pretty sure he died in here, but that doesn't matter. You got to die somewhere, right?
Bit morbid for the podcast, mate. Thanks.
It's not like everyone's going to die, mate. And so basically downstairs where the meter boxes are, right? There's like a room where all the electrical shit is for the whole apartment complex. And there's a fucking scooter in there.
Ooh, I like scooters.
And so basically it's a 50cc petrol scooter.
Oh, proper scooter.
Yeah, proper scooter. Not like a fucking electric fucking scooter, like a petrol scooter.
Yeah.
And those who know me well know that I like to fix things and tinker with my car. And my father was, taught me how to, fix cars and service cars and all that sort of stuff. And I've got the motorbike and everything like that. And I was thinking about it. It's like, the fucking price of petrol at the moment is pretty extortionate. My car runs on LPG, right? So I don't have your car. You've got the fucking big truck, the Ram. That's just, anyway, I digress. And so I looked at that and I went, I've already got a motorbike. It's pretty thirsty because it's fast and it goes like stink. Maybe I should get something that's very miserly. And I looked at this and went, and I'm pretty sure it's been in there at least a couple of years. Like I've had the apartment 10 months. It was there when I first sort of went and had a look at the place. It's been in nearly a year, at least a year, probably longer. So, and it's just sitting there. I'm thinking, fuck, might fucking. The thing I don't know how it works though is that it's basically found property, right? And you can't just go, oh, that's mine. And there's a process that you need to go through if you want to claim found property, but I don't know how that works.
Why not just put a sign on it that says Hendos?
You can't do that because it's got a VIN number and it belongs to somebody and there'll be like registration info about it and that sort of thing.
When you shave the number off.
You don't shave it off because you've got to get it fucking registered. Like I want to write it on the road. And so I was like, and so what happened was like I looked at it this week because I was getting ready because I'm the chairman of the body corporate here now, and I'm like was looking at getting all of there's a lot of rubbish around the place we want to get taken away, and I'm like, and I looked at this and I went, oh, I could just get it dumped or I could do it up. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. That might be my next project, is to get this scooter and get it back on the road and all that sort of thing. But I have to get it in my name, and so I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to go.
I have a scooter sitting in my garage next to me at the moment that you can practice on and get that going.
Really? What is it? What sort of scooter is it?
It's like a little Vespa. I think it is.
Is it a Vespa or is it some Chinese one?
No. It's some Italian one. I don't think it's a Vespa. It's something like it.
Is it very modern?
Be about 7 years old, I think.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty modern. Is it a very retro looking one or a modern looking one?
Very retro. Very retro.
We should start a scooter gang.
Oh, God help me. Brewery crawl scooter gang.
Yeah.
Only over 40s apply.
What was that in that episode of South Park? It was like, nobody messes with a bicycle gang.
Oh, no. Oh, well, I'm up for it if you are.
I'm fucking keen, mate. We could do scooter pub crawls. It's only 50cc, so it's not like it's going to go very fast. You're going to hurt yourself unless something fucking hits you. But yeah, wow.
You can go really
down.
Fast. You can go fast on them downhill, mate.
Well, I've been doing a lot of YouTube research actually on this, and I've been planning out this project almost to the point, right? This is just, I don't know why I do this, but I have these dumb ideas and my mind just goes, fucking that, doing that. It's like this shit that I got into here, right? And I got to the point I just started looking on Gumtree for old scooters. I'm thinking, well, there's one downstairs. I'm just going to go just get it in my name and that sort of thing. And yeah, that's what I think is going to be my little pet project now. Something that's not beer related, that I can just sink my, creative and mental juices into.
Well, I think if you're going to do it, the one thing you got to have on is 6-pack holder saddlebags.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the only input I've got on this project.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a bloody great idea.
Maybe 2 4-packs actually on each side, so you can get a full, full carton.
Going up hill's a be a bastard, but yeah.
Sounds good.
So there you go. That's what I think I'm going to do. Mad, isn't it?
I don't know why you didn't think of it earlier.
Hey, it's because I think of dumb shit all the time. That's why. You don't know what goes on in this stupid head. It's fucking terrible. You make lots of very interesting beers at your brewery.
Try to.
We've made a beer together. In fact, we haven't done a beer in years, mate.
Now we should do it again.
We did the Partaguile brew we did, and so I'm just, Dan's probably listening to this and he's going to go, what's a fucking Partaguile? And and we'll have to remind him that a Partaguile is where you make 2 beers from 1 mash.
Actually, Hendo, he won't know what it is because there's no dry hops in either of those beers we did.
No, that's right.
So he wouldn't care.
Yeah, true. He would still wear the red flannel though.
He would. Well, we should do another barley wine, I think, but in America.
Well, we did a Partaguile barley wine. So it was barley wine and some pale ale kind of thing, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I think it had 6.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, well, we should do a big American barley wine this time, like a proper hoppy barley wine. Because they sell so well, Hendo. There's such a demand out there.
They're just such a popular beer style, exactly.
Totally. It's kind of like Lichtenheiner's. I was going to send you one, but I just couldn't be asked filling one off the tap and sending it to you.
Yeah, right. Have you ever done a Grodzisky?
No, and I must confess, probably like every other brewer who listens to this podcast, we were tempted to do one just to beat you.
Well, everyone's beaten us. Like, was it Rocky Ridge or whatever over at WA? Just won the champion beer with a Grodzisky.
And how good is that? I think
it's fucking great.
Fantastic. Some old styles.
Absolutely great.
They're the fun ones to brew now.
Well, exactly.
And they're cheap. No dry.
We're making progress though, Dan and I, on our Grodzisky. So
I've heard about it for what's this, 36 episodes now.
37 this is, yeah. So it is 36 because I think we had Michael on the second episode number 2. Yeah. But we've got a label, but we're not allowed to show you the label yet. And that was Dan's idea to not show anyone the label.
Of course.
And then and so we've got a beer. We know when we were designing the label, Dan wanted to know all of the details. So he says, "Oh, what's the ABV of this beer going to be?" Because I think he needs to get all the printing and shit all sorted for it. And he says, "How many standos?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's 1.2 standos, which means the beer is going to be 4% ABV for 375 ml can." And there you go.
There you go.
So that's as far as we've gotten. I mean, Grodzisky, it's fucking 100% oak smoke wheat malt, right? There's just there's no other way you can do it, right? That's it.
No, it's a beer that practically makes itself.
Right. And then there's a little bit of, noble hop and Kolsch's.
Done.
That's it. You can't, like our Grodzisky is going to win a medal because it's the same as fucking Rocky Ridges.
No, it's going to win multiple medals.
Because exactly. It's the finesse, mate. It's the finesse with that stuff.
It'll have the love of the 12 going that way.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to it. It's happening. But I think it's really good that there was I'm just going to pull up the article here. There was some good outcomes for the Perth Beer Awards. With what else we got here? Rocky Ridge had their one champion large brewery, and the Polski Pivo for the Grodzisky. And they also had Rocky Ridge's Born Under Puncheons was for best hybrid and specialty beer. What else we got here? Other side, one champion medium brewery. And their Redliner was the best amber dark. And their Harvest Red Ale also won a thing. And Denmark's Artisan Brewing Company won Champion Small Brewery. Their Great Southern Beer won the trophy for best low alcohol beer.
I'll tell you what, I love visiting the West. I've only been a couple of times, to be fair. I should go again. But some of the breweries over there just blow your mind. Like that's my mecca. Little Creatures on the the harbour there. Like that's amazing, that place.
Yeah, it's very different to when I lived there. I lived in Perth for like nearly 10 years, and there was basically Little Creatures. Never really went to Matilda Bay because it wasn't really open to the public. There's all the breweries out in Swan Valley and all the breweries down in Margaret River. And that was maybe half a dozen, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And so, there's heaps now.
Yeah.
Heaps now.
Like Margaret River was just awesome going around because what was it? You got Colonial, Bootleg was the other one down
Bootleg,
there.
yeah.
Trying to think, it was a few I went to. It was a while ago, and it was just excellent, mixed in with some of the best wineries, and then you get some cracking breweries out there that are, it wasn't like the country brewery that has 6 corny kegs hooked up on the other side of it, and the beers were.
Well, there were those. There was like Bush Shack Brewery and that sort of thing.
Right, Bush Shack. I think I'm
put the beer out of corny kegs.
Yeah, but like they were actually big, decent operations that were sending beer over from the West into the other eastern state markets. But it's come a long way since then. Like you talk to Ash about the Colonial over there.
The old Colonial.
Yeah, that's like the plaything now, and like the Melbourne Colonial sends its equipment over to there, so it's getting bigger and bigger anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then there was like MASH.
Yes.
It was related to Three Ravens and Duckstein. That was pretty good. Very good.
Yeah.
They did all the lagers and stuff. You wouldn't like it, mate.
Mate, no.
What is it with your disdain for lager? How did that happen?
It's just boring.
Did lager do something to you?
It touched me inappropriately one night, probably in Japan somewhere. But
that's all you drink in Japan is lager. Get the little cans. I love the little 135ml cans of Asahi Super Dry. It's just so cute. It's just like if you're walking down the street, you feel like a beer. It's like, I'm going to have a couple of sips of beer, thanks.
My disdain is not I have anything particularly against lager. I just have so many. It's like a list about 99 on the things I want to have at that particular time. I think, give me hops any day of the week. There are some great hoppy lagers out there, and I'll probably be the first to say they're not number 99. They're a little bit higher. It's just not my thing, I
saw this fucking awesome meme today of a guy. He had 4 glasses and he was like drinking all the glasses, and each one had a little label on it. And it was like, what did it say? It had hoppy lager, India Pale Lager, cold IPA, DDH, Keller beer. That's so funny.
Well, Hendo, look, I suppose to put a bit of balance to the equation, currently in our brewery we have 4 tanks that are lagers at the moment.
So you're not shy about making one?
No. We make heaps of lagers. We've been doing a fair bit of contract stuff, and there's quite a lot of lagers in that. But no, we have a cold IPA back in tank this week. So no, it's not it's not an IPL at all. It's a cold
IPA. It's totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah, totally.
Are you going to Juicy Festival?
I am. I'm going to the same session. I think you are, day session.
I'm going to the day. Yeah, I think I'm going to the day session.
Yeah, that'll be.
I wouldn't make it into the evening. I'm too old.
I've learned my lesson not to do the evening session.
That's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's coming up in like 3 weeks.
Yes. Like when is it? 8th.
Yeah,
9th of July.
July or something, yeah.
9th of July, the Saturday. No, I'm
Super
excited
stoked.
about it. Huh?
I like
And
the concept, and I think the range crew have done an amazing job putting that together. I think the location is super sound. Have you been to the Fortitude Music Hall before?
I haven't, because let's face it, it's really only been back putting music on, because wasn't the first concerts, they were only about 2 weeks before COVID struck.
COVID, that's right. Yeah.
And it's been pretty much shut the whole time. And then
it's back open now.
Yeah,
I mean, I went and saw Arnie Donna there a few weeks ago.
No,
apparently
it's awesome, isn't it? It's like 5,000 seats, just custom.
No, it's not 5,000. No,
how big?
Definitely not. I'd probably say 1,500 tops.
Okay, that's pretty small.
Yeah.
So it's not too much bigger than the Triffid then.
No, it's about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, about the same. And very small, very intimate. Lots of bars and all sorts of stuff. Easy to get a beer. When I was like watching Arnie Donna, it was easy to get a beer. And good venue. Looking forward to going to the Lager Lounge. We should have a beer at the Lager Lounge.
I'll wave to you as I walk past. I'll end up there eventually, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, exactly. Here's one. Did you see? I like literally fucking milk came out my nose today with this news. So CUB have come up with a new beer style called the Aussie Wheat Ale.
I read this too.
And so basically, what is it? Endeavour Group teams up with CUB for new beer style called the Aussie Wheat. So let's fucking break this down, right? Because this is like all the breweries in the Fire and Earth CUB independent craft brewery thing, not independent, but craft brewery thing that they do, have all come out with an Aussie wheat beer. So there's a picture here of Mountain Goat Aussie wheat beer. There's Green Beacon have come out with an Aussie wheat beer.
So they rebranded Wayfarer.
Matilda Bay, Phil Sexton helped develop the style. Beers such as the iconic Redback of the 1980s. I don't know. It's not even the same. That's a Hefeweizen Redback was. And there's a Matilda Bay Aussie Wheat Ale. And Green Beacon, there'll probably be a fucking Four Pines one or something like that. But here's the go, right? So describing what an Aussie wheat beer is, right? They call it development of a new style. The Aussie wheat beer will showcase Australian ingredients, CUB said, and is not merely a riff off traditional wheat beer. Listen to this quote, mate. Fucking most Australian beer uses barley as the dominant ingredient. Substituting a portion of the barley with premium wheat malt grown right here in the Aussie sun gives this new beer a soft, fluffy head with subtle aroma, delicate malt sweet taste, and the bright haze. That's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? Bright haze. That glows like sunlight in the glass, a media release gushed.
Wow.
The Australian wheat beer, instead of using traditional Belgian or German yeast style, uses a neutral, clean fermenting yeast, along with Australian malt from suppliers including Barrett Burstium and the Eclipse hop, which was launched in 2020 by Hop Products Australia.
Wow.
So here's the go. If you're going to have a wheat beer with neutral yeast, which is American yeast, basically, and Australian hops, that's Pacifica. That's Stone and Wood Pacifica.
Pacifica, or for a non-hoppy version, you've got yourself an English summer ale.
Well, yeah, but it's Stone and Wood Pacifica is what they're describing.
Without the big hit of Galaxy. That's all that's missing.
Yeah, but they're using fucking Eclipse.
Yeah, but
that's a big hit of hop.
Yeah, but no, they're not saying it's a big aromatic hop. They're saying it's malt sweet, like it's more a malt dominated one. So to me, that's like, okay, Pacific Ale is like the hoppy version in the brewers, BA guidelines, and then this new one will be the non-hoppy version.
Well, Phil Sexton describes Matilda Bay's Aussie Wheat Ale as somewhere between a Pacific Ale style and a Redback.
Right. Well, look, I'm all for.
I think what it is like, here's the go, right? We're Stone Wood Pacific Ale, right? Lots of Australians hate wheat beer, right? We hate wheat beer. But the thing is that lots and lots of people drink Stone Wood Pacific Ale, and it is a beer that has got a shitload of wheat in it, right? But you can't call it a wheat beer because people they associate wheat beer with the yeast characteristic and not the actual wheat itself.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's that Pacific style ale, which incidentally, when Jamie Ross and Brad invented Stone Wood Pacific Ale, when it was draft ale, they said, "Oh, Pacific Ale, it's not a style." And now CUB going, "It's a style."
It's a style. Well,
anyway,
wasn't that whole Thunder Road thing? They just latched onto one article that they wrote where they said Pacific Ale was a new style of beer. Isn't that what
something like that.
at all?
Oh, is that what they said? Oh, okay. So Pacific Ale was a style.
Well, no, but they only said it. They never said it was a style of beer. I didn't think. I thought it was in a article that they were commentating, like, interviewed for, and they said Pacific Ale was a new style of beer for the Australian market.
Yeah, and Thunder Road won.
Not meaning that, hey, we've made a new style up. It's just it's not something that fits into anything else.
Yes.
And that's when the Thunder Road released their Pacific Ale that was made in Belgium, of all places.
That's right, because that's where you make Australian style beer.
100%.
An Aussie wheat ale.
Look.
Anyway, I find it. I'm amused, right? And good on them for coming up with this. It's fucking great. But it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck. Fucking duck.
Well,
a duck in this case means Pacific Ale.
Probably non-binary duck then. I don't know. Could be anything.
It's I'm going to go try it.
Well,
I'm definitely going to go try them. I'll try them all because that's just what I do.
I was just checking. So this probably backs up a little bit on your comment about the wheats, how Australian hates wheats. I thought I saw this the other day was with Green Beacon. Now, obviously, part of the big conglomerate. Remember their Wayfarer wheat is what it used to be called. And now it's Wayfarer Tropical Pale Ale.
Yep.
So they've completely dropped the, Wayfarer wheat component out of it, substitute for a pale ale style. I don't know if there's anything different. Last time I had one, it tasted pretty similar. But I'm probably a long time between drinks, but maybe this is, I don't know, their way of getting more wheat beers into there with, and create a new style is probably the easiest way to get consumer confidence in it.
I just like watching the three big breweries bicker at each other. No, I'm serious, because it's like you got Stone Wood, go Pacific Ale, and Cooper's, right, who does a completely different style of beer. It's, in fact, in my opinion, it's the only true, genuinely Australian style of beer we got is that Cooper's
100%
classic Australian style pale ale, which I think we should absolutely preserve and protect and nurture in this country, right? And then they think Cooper's mistakenly think that Stone Wood Pacific Ale is the same type of beer, and so they did a Pacific Ale, and then all their marketing is all just sticking the knife in at Stone Wood, and then Stone Wood come back and they go, Cooper's did a Pacific Ale, and then Stone Wood go, oh, we've got the original. They call it the original Pacific Ale, and then Cooper's clap back and go, forever original. Like real.
I don't think they're bitter at all, are they?
No, there's no animosity there whatsoever.
No animosity there.
I just find it so funny. And then CUB's just sitting back there going, I wonder what we're going to do. Well, that style of beer sells really well, and we don't want to call it Pacific Ale, and we don't want to call it Australian style pale ale. I've got an idea. Let's call it Aussie wheat beer. I genuinely, and like I said, Australians have a real disdain for the term wheat beer.
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to cause CUB some problems around the marketing around it. I'm sure the beer is going to be fucking great.
Well, because Dan's not here, so now I can assume his role of making polls. How about we put a poll to the 12? How long will the Australian wheat
Aussie wheat beer?
Aussie wheat ale, isn't it?
Aussie wheat beer, they call it.
Aussie wheat beer. How long will that style last?
How long would it last? It's a good one.
I'm thinking 18 months before we're back into pale ale IPA territory again.
It's always that reversion, isn't it?
Maybe even Aussie lager will make a return. That's
what we need. If we were going to invent an Australian style of beer, right? The Cooper's classic Australian style pale ale, and even a beer like Stonewwood Pacific Ale, which I suppose you could shoehorn into English style summer ale in some respects. Uniquely Australian.
Well, if we were talking about uniquely Australian, why wouldn't you make a lager that's based on a German Pilsner style using nothing but Australian hops? So your late edition is Galaxy, and you've got that lovely hint of like passion fruit or something like that.
Yeah, but then you're doing like New Zealand Pilsner, but you're just using Aussie hops. And that's not really inventive.
No, but at least we can call it Australian and stop giving the New Zealanders credit.
Yeah, but New Zealand Pilsner is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Just copy, and if you just substitute Aussie hops, you're just copying the New Zealand Pilsner style and just, putting lipstick on a pig. We do need to have a Australian lager style that's not the hot ferment fucking banana ester out the wazoo thing, right? Like Carlton Draft or whatever.
Carlton Draft.
But something that also showcases Australian hops.
I agree.
What about Australian, like the beer that I did with Matty Cuthbert over at Revel, that the what was it called? The Phoenix cold IPA. That was a lager that was all Aussie hops, right?
Yeah, but it's a cold IPA. It's a whole style.
And that was what about Australian cold IPA? See, we're just inventing all this shit. We're just the smartest people in the room.
Yeah, well, it's better than an Australian wheat beer.
Yeah, it's true. Aussie wheat beer, mate. Don't be formal about it. We're not formal here in Australia.
Yeah,
it's Aussie wheat beer.
Well, anyway, my prediction's 18 months.
Yeah, I hear you. Shall we answer some questions from the from the 12?
Sure.
All right, you haven't checked. I've got it this week. Normally, this is Dan's job, and he's not here, so fuck him. And rightio, what do we got here? So, are you ready? Because you're answering the questions.
I'll answer the questions.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
the smart one here.
So, Craig Maiden says, "Who is the guest?"
Well, it was Dan Norris to begin with.
Yeah, that was Dan Norris. Oh my god! Oh, you've got to hold that up again. I've got to post a photo on the Facebook group.
I'll have to get.
Where is he?
I had it stuck with a ruler and something else. I'll have to find it again. It's ripped a bit. There
he is.
There's Dan.
Classic. Absolutely. Yeah, it's Dan Norris was the guest, Craig. There you go. Bevan Howe says, thoughts on the Rocky Ridge Royal Perth Beer Awards champion beer. Are we now behind the trend of Grodzitsky's about to flood the market?
No.
Dan and I, we're slow movers, but we're methodical. And when we do this beer, it's going to be ace.
My only comment is don't do a large batch of it.
Oh, we're going to send it, mate.
Send
We're
it.
gonna fucking send it. Yeah.
200 heck.
They've got. Yeah, no, we're gonna send it. I don't know exactly how much. It's not my brewery, but it's on. Coop says we got some new brewery walls. I saw that today. That's looking really good.
That is looking awesome.
Dave Lavin says smash a few pints first, Hendo.
Well, Hendo has, like, I give him beers and he doesn't even have one. Like, how?
I haven't had. Oh shit, you're right. I haven't had it yet. I'm gonna have to bust a nut.
Sounds fair.
Oh, I feel a bit nervous. This is my first drink in like 2 weeks.
Well, this is my first drink in about, 20 minutes.
What's in busting up? Oh, that's so fucking good.
Thank you.
That's bloody delicious. It's a hazelnut in it.
Yep. Hazelnut.
2.4 standos. That's 2 to the 12, 2 of the 1.2s, mate.
We send it at White Lies, mate.
6% ABV. And will cause lifelong harm to my baby. Bloody beautiful, mate. What else we got here? So, yeah, I smash a few pints. Yeah. Angus Grant said about that episode, just finished listening to that episode. What a debacle. I think Dan Norris deserves a medal for persevering in the face of overwhelming drunkenness. Was I that bad?
No, you
I haven't listened to it. I feel really embarrassed by it, eh?
See, it's like, are you on that Simpsons meme page? No. Where you could just see you as Principal Skinner saying, is it me who's out of touch with the world and too drunk? And then the next panel is, no, it's Dan. It's Dan's problem. He wasn't prepared to deal with me. You're fine, Hendo. You're fine.
Yeah, thanks. Adam Shell, not that one, the other one, said, I dropped into BH2 and again, I'm 2 from 2 of Dan avoiding me. Is it true that everything is just on Eddie's shoulders? Yes. He says, thanks, Dan, for answering that question. Question, where's the brewer? He's got COVID, I think.
Does he?
And so, yeah, he said, look, I don't want you to, it's probably best that we, that I sit out the podcast because I don't want you to get COVID.
Poor guy. Hope he's okay.
I don't know if he's got COVID. He's at least got man flu.
I'm fine.
He's fine. He'll be back. He's going to have to fucking sort something out for next week because next week I am judging at the Royal Adelaide Beer and Cider Awards and I can't be on the show next week. So
that sounds cool. How'd you get that?
Me
gig?
not being on the show or?
No, judging. How'd you get that gig?
Stephen Nelson.
Oh, Nelson.
Yeah. And so I'm in Adelaide anyways because I'm doing a bit of work down there with a client. And so basically just ducks lined up basically, went quack and I'm fly out on the day after Schweinhaxen night on Saturday night, I fly out on Sunday down to Melbourne. Adelaide. So it's all good. Angus Grant says, how do you plan to fill 50% of the episode with content once you both finish renos? Maybe you could get brewers on to talk about their renos, but not talk about their beer. Do I get a T-shirt if I guess the special guest is Perko, Leon? You don't get a T-shirt because the special guest isn't fucking Perko. There you go. Sorry, Angus.
But he does have
now, do you know what? We should get Dan to get a fucking scooter.
We should. We can have like a gang, a real gang.
A real scooter gang. I actually know where there's one for sale, like $400 just around the corner from his place. And it's one of those scooters that's got the big giant delivery box on the back for food delivery and shit.
Okay, adding to this a little bit. So does that mean probably, you've got to have a proper gang colours. It should be flannel, red and black flannel.
True.
Probably should have a patch something like, maybe not the 1%er because we want to get into venues, but it could be the dry hopper.
Yes.
You know,
I hear.
Or it could be 1 gram per litre, or who knows?
Yes. Yep. I hear.
It's a good game. I reckon the 12 would get on board with that.
I agree. Paul Metcalf says, "Can we see the label?" Nope. Not yet. We will share that with you. We will share that with you once we have a production date booked in. And Paul, we're probably going to have to make a T-shirt out of this. Fair. Louis G.
Paul. You've got till episode 72.
Exactly. Old mate Louis G, a formerly Luxicon half G, says, "Question." That was it.
Why does everyone start with question?
I don't know. That's what it said. That's what he says. Question, colon.
That's all I took out of the last podcast. So
that's
I
what he
thought I'd iterate.
Adam Shell, not that one, the other one, said, "How many brewers does it take to ask a question on a Wednesday?" And there's a picture of a whole bunch of fucking brewers there. Who we got?
He's got. So
we've got Chris Smith from Burley Barrels, Toshi, Charlie, Stu. Who's that other guy? Who's that guy with the long beard? I've met him before, but I can't remember his name. Onadzi as well. Yep, they're all giving us the finger. There you go.
Yes, I don't like us.
Lee McAlister-smiley says, "Does the guest have to wear pants?"
What do you want to know?
Are you wearing pants?
No.
Good. Stephen Keegle, last question. I don't know if that was 12 questions, but fuck, there we go. Question, colon. Can we listen, watch live yet? If so, on what platform? I tried this evening to get Facebook Live in the group going, but it didn't work because there was a permissions issue. And I tried to jump on to the group to try and figure it out, and it didn't work. So not this week. Maybe next week.
But that's a Dan problem because you're not there.
Well, I tried to put the initiative in, right? And, kind of get something happening while Dan was away, a bit of progress and stuff like that, because he's not really a high achiever, Dan.
No.
And it just didn't work, and I'm looking at the fucking group settings and it says people can post live, but I don't know why I can't do a live. Features and capabilities added, live videos, broadcast in real time, switched on. Weird.
Not
so
there.
Weird. What if I go add new? Or maybe I need to add the app, the Zoom app. I don't know.
It'd be pretty funny if you actually work that out now at the end of the podcast.
Well, yeah, that would be pretty insane. But anyway, here we are.
Done.
So there you go, mate. You did an episode. Thank you for joining us this evening whilst the brewer had not man flu, but he had Dan flu.
Dan flu. Do you know I caught up with Dan the other week in Stanthorpe of all places? In Danthorpe.
You mean Danthorpe?
Met Dan in Danthorpe the other week.
Was he out there again? Is he going out there quite regularly?
Yeah, well, he was at the Barrel Room. There, the restaurant, Ballindine Estate.
Oh, at Ballindine Estate, at my sister-in-law's.
Yeah, I ran into him there. We were having lunch as well.
Oh, okay. How good's the food there?
Yeah, but they're closing.
What do you mean?
Well, the lease is up for those particular, like the people that have got it. So in 3 weeks, they're closing the doors.
I'll get someone else in, won't they?
I hope so, because the food's awesome.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, ran into Dan in Danthorpe.
He does all right in Danthorpe, doesn't he?
He does.
That's more Ballindine.
Yeah.
Or should I say Ballindan?
Ballindan. You had to go through Danthorpe to get to Ballindan.
Ballindan. How about 7 Lee?
I was there, mate. I was at 7 Lee.
7 Lee. You are 7 Lee.
I am.
Oh shit! Where's your place out there? It's north of. You're up in where the fruit places are, aren't you?
Dalcouth. So
Where's that?
As you come in to Stanthorpe, Amosfield Road,
Yeah.
turn left, head straight left, and then we're about probably 10 minutes from Stanthorpe.
As you go left when you're going into Stanthorpe?
Yeah, so you go into Stanthorpe and you go past, where the BP is. As you go Stanthorpe, next left is Amosfield Road.
Yes.
You head straight left out there and then onto Dalcouth Road. Past the...
Applethorpe, past Applethorpe.
No. So Dalcouth is just over the causeway before that. So you turn right there and we're out that way.
It's right on the border.
Close. We're about 1 kilometre away from the border.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's a nice little part of the world out there.
Have you been out? You actually, we should go out there and go for a fly in my brother's plane.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You did the helicopter pub crawl the other day, didn't you?
I did. That was, I must say, pretty epic. That was a really good fun time.
I want to do a pub crawl in my brother's plane. He can't drink if he's flying.
Doesn't matter. He's not you.
That's right. And he loves his fucking plane.
Oh,
he's worked his ass off and he's built this amazing business and he goes, fuck it, I'm going to buy a plane. Bought a plane.
Funny knew how to do a helicopter because they can get into so many more places.
He would like to, but I don't think that he's rich enough to own a helicopter.
Yeah, do you know how much, like that one I was in?
They cost a lot of money to run.
Oh yeah, maintenance is huge on them.
And fuel.
No, fuel was nothing. So I was talking to the guy we're with, and the helicopter itself was worth about 2 mil.
Yep.
Which is, no chump change. But to go from Archerfield to Stradbroke Island to Jacob's Well, all the way up to Mount Tambourine and then back to Archerfield, was about 220 litres of fuel.
That's not too bad, I suppose.
No, but I imagine the maintenance schedules are pretty tight on those things.
You've got to have one every 100 hours, so that's... Yeah.
It was good though, but it does not make me want to buy a helicopter for myself. No,
you've got to be pretty loaded.
I think you've got to have nothing else to spend money on before you buy a helicopter.
Yes, that's right. It's like, well, my brother bought a plane. I think he had nothing else to spend money on.
Oh.
Like he could have gone, like usually when you buy a plane, you buy a share in a plane, and he doesn't like to share. So he just bought his own plane. It's a little Cessna. It's a great little plane, but he goes and flies fucking mum's place up in Caboolture from Stanthorpe.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he calls mum and he's like, oh, I've got to come up for lunch. And he flies from Stanthorpe up to Caboolture. Mum goes and picks him up, takes him to Beachmere, has lunch, and he drives him back on the plane and flies back home.
Yeah, that's living.
Yeah.
Maybe Dan will be like that in a couple of years, I reckon.
Oh, Dan needs a scooter first before he goes and invests in a plane. And the other thing he needs to do, he needs to get that bloody Volvo going.
Yes. Well, yeah, I'll show you my classic car one day soon.
You have a classic car?
I do. It was my late father's, but I'll show you in time.
Okay. All right. You got that giant fucking truck of yours. I bet you that would use 220 litres to go to Jacob's Well.
Don't get me started on the fuel.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us tonight, mate. And thank you for filling in for Dan Flew. And thanks for being part of the 12.
Legend. See you next week.
Catch you next week, guys.